Hi, hello, how are you? I hope you are doing fantastic. Welcome to another vlog. I am so excited to announce that it is day one of the Magical Readathon, and G over at Book Roast, our wonderful host, will be kicking off the readathon with some sprints, so I will definitely be tuning into that. Her sprints are just honestly some of the best. They are so chill, and she has this little spinner wheel that she spins that we get points, and I don't know, her live shows are always just one of my favorites. I think the first thing that I might pick up this week is The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. I am just in the mood for something cozy, and this is pitched as like a cozy fairy tale reimagining of the Chronicles of Narnia, set in West Virginia, which, if you don't know, is where I'm from. So I am so excited to see kind of how they interpret the West Virginia wilderness in this fairy tale story. The Hold is also available for With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. So I think I might make that my audio this week while I'm like getting ready for work and traveling to and from work. I always have an audiobook on, so I think that might be my first audio this week. Also, you may notice something a little different. I finally got my hair refreshed. Thank you so much to my husband, who every like 6 weeks hates doing it, but does it because he loves me and because he knows that I will not pay for someone else to do it. So he dyes my hair like every 6 weeks. He is such a doll. I appreciate him very much. And he does such a good job, honestly. Like, he's gotten so good at it over the years because he's always been the one to like dye my hair ever since I've been going red. This isn't my favorite red. It does get a little dark right after we dye it, but once it fades a little bit, it's perfect. Real talk for a minute. I really need to get better at not putting so much pressure on, I don't know, completing objectives and goals. Like, I am such a goal-driven person, but like, it's not the end of the world if a goal isn't achieved, especially in a time frame that you find appropriate. Just because your goal is not accomplished within the time frame that you created in your head doesn't mean that you necessarily failed. It's just the goal isn't achieved yet. It's just gotten pushed back, and that's okay. I don't know. I feel like so many people are just so like grind oriented, like the boss mindset of you grind and you grind and you grind. And I feel like I have let that rub off on me a little bit too much, even though there's really nothing for me to grind. It's just literally my little personal objectives that I like to complete. But I don't know. I feel like I need to work on maybe trying to slow down and just focusing more on the present day, like as it happens, instead of always like setting my sights for the future. I just need to enjoy the day, whatever that may look like and whatever that may bring. So I would like to try to work on that. Like, today is Labor Day and I have like nothing to do except like sit around, hang out with my husband, which I absolutely love to do, read, and I'm loving it. But I also kind of feel like in the back of my mind there's this thing of like, you're wasting time because you're not being productive. But I also view reading as a productive task. I don't know if that's good or bad. I feel like maybe because I have attached a goal to it, that reading books is productive to me. Hello. I don't know though. I'm also just such a walking contradiction because I legitimately like love my slow life. I don't know, like sometimes my brain is like work, 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 don't relax, only do productive things. You're not spending your time wisely if you're not doing productive things. But also, on the other hand, like I am just so content in my life right now. Like, my husband and I are on this like super strict budget. Well, not super strict, I mean, not super strict, but we're like trying to pay off all of our debt, and we haven't been like going out to eat. We haven't been like going out, spending money doing things. And honestly, I've been kind of loving it. Like, if you love going out and like doing activities every weekend, like full power to you. I am so happy for you. But I don't know, there's just something kind of mellow and enjoyable about just like having a quiet weekend, you know? Hanging out with family or friends, or sitting down to play a board game or some video games, you know? So yeah, I'm I'm just a big contradiction. It really depends on where my brain's at and how nice it's willing to be to me that day. And it is just crazy to me how much money we have been able to save with just a little bit of mindfulness, being mindful of the purchases that we're making. Like, I don't know, the world is just so full of overconsumption, and I'm guilty of it too. Like the psychology of that dopamine hit when you buy something, like it's so hard to resist. But I don't know, there's something satisfying about being able to like pay off a credit card. Like that feeling, I will take it over a little dopamine hit of buying a coffee, like every time. Granted, harder to achieve, but probably why it feels better and more satisfying. I've been debating like how personal to get. Like I love watching vlogs where people share their thoughts on their books, but also like what is going on in their life. But I'm sure some people are just like here for the books, not here, just like on the internet for the books. But I think, I don't know, I might try a little bit of mix of both. So this week is going to kind of be just like, come along with me for a week in the life, while I read and start the Magical Readathon and just exist. So if you want to come hang out with me for a week, stick around. I'd love to have you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hi, hello, how are you? So good to see you. It is the next day. I just got done with my workout. I got a shower, got my face all cleaned, nice and fresh, ready for the evening. I absolutely loved tuning in to G's Magical Readathon kickoff sprints yesterday. We had such a good time. I did not get as much read as I was hoping. I did do some editing during some of the sprints, but I did get about 40 pages into the Lost Story while on sprints yesterday. I am really liking it so far. I'm really liking the writing style, and I was under the assumption that we were going to be following Jeremy, our missing person investigator, but we are actually following Emily, who is the sister of the missing girl. So Emily was adopted, and she finds out that she had a half-sister, but this half-sister went missing and is presumed dead. So when her sister was 13, she got kidnapped by a registered sex offender, and the sex offender showed up dead days later, and her sister's body was never recovered. And Emily just found out about this. She just found out that she had a sister and all of this that happened to her. So now she is on the hunt to try to at least find her sister's body so she can lay it to rest. So she has heard about Jeremy, who is one of the boys who went missing 15 years ago in the woods in West Virginia, who is now a famed missing persons investigator. So she tracks him down and is trying to convince him to take on the case of finding her missing sister. When he finds out that her sister went missing in the same woods that him and his friend went missing in, he immediately is like, absolutely not, I cannot help you, sorry about your luck. But he does end up coming around and agrees to help her. He seems to have this like weird power, not only of finding people, but of finding objects as well. So I'm thinking he has some kind of like supernatural power that maybe he was granted when he was in the woods as a child. And him and his friend Rafe, I think is how you pronounce it. His name's actually Ralph, but he calls him Rafe, R-A-F-E. I'm assuming it's Rafe. They are not on good speaking terms, and after he does agree to help her find her sister, he says that we have to find Rafe because he's the only one that can help us find your missing sister, who is alive, by the way. Apparently, Jeremy remembers seeing her in the woods as a child when he went missing for that 6-month period. Sorry if you're in a slightly different spot now. The cat knocked you over. I am really liking this one so far. I'm also really enjoying, even though we haven't got a lot of it yet, and I'm super excited to get more into it, I love her speaking about the wild, wonderful, dark West Virginia. It's just so cool to read about somewhere where you're from and that you're so familiar with. Before every chapter, we're also getting these little pop-ins from a storyteller, kind of like the narrator of the story, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to see where this is gonna go, and I will definitely be getting to more of it tonight. I also made it to chapter 11 in With a Vengeance. I am 25% through. I listened to 2.5 hours of the audiobook today, getting ready on my way to and from work, and I'm really liking it so far. It's a little slow, just trying to get to know everybody's background of how our main character Anna knows everybody. So our main character Anna has invited these 6 people who all took a part in the downfall of her family. So Anna's father owned this railway that they are on right now. But years ago, one of the trains that her father owned that were carrying a bunch of soldiers exploded and killed like 38 people. And every single one of these people played a part in either creating this sabotage and framing her father to be the one that did it. So not only did her father end up in jail, but her brother was actually one of the people on that train that was sabotaged that ended up dying from this explosion. So all 6 of these people took part in sabotaging this poor man, and in result ruining his entire family and Anna's family and Anna's life. So the only people on this train right now are these 6 people: Anna, her accomplice, I guess his brother was also on the train that was sabotaged, so he came to help Anna, and I think there's some kind of like sexual tension between them that I guess we'll see as the story develops. And the conductor. There's been no foul play yet, but the worst of the worst, supposedly the person that masterminded this whole sabotage, didn't show up. His son found the invitation and came in his stead. And of course, he's like this super handsome bachelor who broke Anna's heart when they were teenagers. So of course, she's super pissed that the guy that she wanted to pay the most isn't there. But this also opens up like a whole new dynamic of her past love like being here during all of this, and how that's gonna play out, because they haven't seen each other since all of this went down. I am enjoying getting to kind of know everybody's backstory, how they all relate to Anna. Some of this betrayal is even worse because some of these people were so close to her. Like one of them was her nanny, the other was her father's like secretary who she thought was a friend. Others she's only met in passing. So this point in the story, we've kind of just laid the groundwork of what part everybody played in this sabotage, and Anna finally came in and confronted everybody and admitted that she was the one that brought them all together, and kind of what's going to happen now. I'm definitely intrigued to see where this one is going to go. The son who came in place of the father, his name's Dante, is just kind of a total wild card, so I'm wondering kind of how he's going to play into the whole thing. We also know like nothing about her accomplice yet, so other than his brother died on the train as well. I'm hoping it does pick up a little bit in pace once the murder actually happens and everybody scrambles to try to figure out who did it. But even though it is a little slow, I am enjoying it so far. Hi. I cannot sit in this chair without her being on top of me. Such a sweet baby. This cat is the neediest cat in the entire world. I mean, not that I'm necessarily complaining. I love the cat cuddles, but so needy. But yeah, I'm enjoying what I'm reading so far, hoping to get more into the lost story tonight, and I will listen to more of With a Vengeance tomorrow. Hello. So I have finished With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. This one was pretty good. I did like it. I know it's had a lot of mixed reviews, but I did enjoy this one. I will say I thought about updating at like the halfway mark, but I didn't have much to say. I still don't have a ton to say. I would definitely consider this like a popcorn read. It's really easy. I did find it to be really fast paced. Like the chapters were really short, which I really enjoyed, which made it feel like it was just flying by. There were a lot of twists and turns. Some of them I kind of saw coming, others I definitely did not. I don't know, I just wasn't super invested in the story or the characters of this one. It definitely did keep me reading, but I was glad that I was able to bump it up to like 2x speed listening to it on my audiobook. Like I said, it was a super easy read. Even with multiple people and names and POVs, I was able to kind of keep everyone straight in my head from like who they were and what part they played in all of this. The characters just fell a little flat for me. I didn't find myself caring about them like at all. I did appreciate the little LGBTQ plus and disability rep that we got, even though it was pretty brief. I will say this about his writing, even at 2x speed, I was always able to picture kind of what was happening and what was going on. So the atmosphere was good in this one. He definitely knows how to set a scene. It was giving Agatha Christie, film noir, like Hitchcock film. Like for some reason, it was in my head like this black and white movie. It was a classic murder mystery, but there were definitely thrilling parts about it, which Riley Sager is just so good at. There was even like a couple scenes of like horror mixed in. So there were these times when our main character Anna was having nightmares, and the thing that she kept seeing in her nightmares, I won't say because of spoilers, but like it was horrifying. There were definitely things in this that were kind of over the top. I had to suspend my disbelief a little bit. I just have a hard time believing that some of the things that happened in this book would actually turn out how they turned out. Overall though, it was an enjoyable read. I did like it. I'll probably give it like a 3.5. Not my favorite Sager, but probably not my least favorite. I also did have a chance to get a little bit further into the Lost story last night. So after dinner, I curled into bed and read about 50 more pages of this. So I think I'm at like page 100, and I will tell you what, I am in it. Like I am loving this book so far. Like we're not even in the forest yet, and I am in. I am loving the humor in this book. Like once Rafe comes into the picture, the whole dynamic has changed, and I am just loving the banter between these three characters. There were sections of this where I was sitting here reading last night, and I just had the stupidest big smile on my face because it was just making me so happy. I know I said in the last clip that I wasn't sure about Emily, but she has grown on me so much. I really like her. We find out that due to some circumstances with her birth mother, that she has like no self-filter. She is unable to self-censor. So she just says whatever she is thinking at any point, and it just makes her character so much more endearing. I'm also getting this tension between Jeremy and Rafe. I'm not sure if it's like a romantic tension or if it's just the fact that they haven't seen each other in 15 years and that they've missed each other, but I can feel that the space between them is taut, and I am loving it. So Rafe is really upset with Jeremy because Jeremy remembers everything that happened in the woods, but Rafe cannot, and Jeremy refuses even now to tell him anything about what happened in the woods when they were boys. Jeremy keeps claiming that it's for Rafe's protection and for his safety, but Rafe's just not buying it. And after the boys' reappearance when they were children, Jeremy's mom took him away to Britain, I think, just to get him away from the cacophony of all that was happening, all of the press, all of the attention that they were getting from their small town. But Rafe was kind of left there on his own to deal with this all by himself, on top of having an abusive father. Jeremy says he chose to stay away for this long over all of these years because he knew that he couldn't tell Rafe what happened in the woods, and he knew that Rafe would never stop asking. So instead of a friendship full of secrets and lies, he thought that the silence and the separation would be better. And it's so sad because Jeremy lying to Rafe seems to hurt Jeremy just as much as it does Rafe. Like he hates doing it, so there has to be a good reason that he's not telling him, and you cannot convince me otherwise. So initially Rafe tells him like, no, absolutely not. I am not helping you and this strange woman I've never met find her sister that I've also never met, especially because you can't even give me the decency of telling me what happened all those years ago. So absolutely not. If you're not going to give me that decency, I want nothing to do with you. But it turns out Rafe actually subconsciously does know Emily's sister. So he creates these wooden sculptures, and he whittles wood, and he's like super artistic. And when Emily arrives at Rafe's house, what is the first thing she finds? Just a life-size sculpture carved out of wood of her long-lost sister, which Rafe kind of has to admit is a little weird, so he is a little bit more open to kind of hearing her out. Rafe still isn't 100% with them by all means. He actually promised his abusive dad before he passed that he would never go back into the woods again, but I don't know, it kind of feels like he's just using that as an excuse at this point to not get too close to Jeremy again. But after talking with Jeremy and Emily for a little bit, he did decide that if his mom gives him permission, even though the guy's like 30, if his mom says it's okay, he will accompany them into these woods. I just cannot wait until they get to this fantastical land. Like, I'm already loving it so much. Adding that extra element of fairy tale and fantasticalness is just going to add to the experience. Like I mentioned before, it's also just so cool reading about West Virginia, like the place that I grew up. There was a section where Emily was traveling through north central West Virginia, which is very close to where I was from. She was like describing landmarks, and I'm like, I've been there. I know where that is. I don't know why that makes me so happy, but it really does. And there was a line in this about West Virginia. Let me find it here. So she just drove over the West Virginia border, and she said she felt something shift in the air. Was it the elevation? West Virginia was a mountain state, and it felt like she was driving closer to the sky. But it was more than that. The shadows were heavier here, the sky grayer, the wind wilder. Or was she imagining it? And the beauty. If she'd known how beautiful these mountains were, these endless rolling hills, all shades of October, she would have come every year. It didn't even look real. It was almost too beautiful to be trusted, too breathtaking to feel safe. God, that is just so beautiful. And it is so true. Like, if you have never seen the Appalachian Mountains in the throes of autumn, you have not seen beauty. Like, I don't miss a lot about West Virginia, but those hills in autumn, I do miss that. A sight like no other. And I think I mentioned before that we're getting these little snippets from the like storyteller, and I thought that they would kind of be annoying and break up the story, but I'm honestly really enjoying them. His little sections are called the Storyteller Corner, and I really liked this one. It says, a hero on a quest for the Holy Grail isn't looking for the Holy Grail. The hero is trying to find himself, and the only way he can find his true self is by going on a journey, being tried and tested until he knows if he is a hero in name only or a hero in truth. And that's why the world has Holy Grails. Not because the world needs Holy Grails, but because the world needs heroes. And then it goes on to say, oh, and things are about to get weird. Are you ready? Which I just think is so cute. I love it so much. It's already pretty late in the evening. It's like 7 p.m. I had a doctor's appointment today. God, which I am just like so nervous about. It's actually, I had an orthodontic appointment, and I've always had like teeth problems and jaw problems. Not really problems. They've just like always kind of been an issue for me. So I finally decided to go to an orthodontist and kind of see what my options are. And apparently, if I want the A+ result of the best teeth that I can get, I'm going to have to do jaw surgery, which I kind of foresaw. I kind of knew that's what was happening, what they would tell me, because I've been down this route before. When I was a teenager, my jaw was locking up. So we went through this whole process of seeing what was wrong, and apparently like my upper jaw is a lot smaller than my lower jaw, and in reality it should be the opposite. Like the top jaw should be bigger than the bottom jaw. So the only way to really fix my issues would be to have surgery, and they would like move my upper jaw up and possibly my lower jaw back. When I was a teenager, they said that I would have to have my jaw wired shut, which I was just like absolutely hell to the no. But they did say that it is a more probable possibility that that would not have to be necessary. So I don't know. I'm also not sure it would be covered by medical insurance. It depends on if they deem it medically necessary. And who knows with US medical insurance, like what they are gonna say and what they deem medically necessary. So I don't know, just a lot to think about whether I even want to go down that route to see if I can afford it and if I want to take the time off work, because they said depending on how the surgery goes, I would need to take like a week or two off work. I would be on like a soft food diet for weeks, and I just don't know if like a perfect smile is worth that. But it's not just cosmetic. Like, he did say that if I don't do anything, that my risk does heavily increase later on in life to have more functionality problems and more jaw problems. So I don't know. I'm stressed. I mean, I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna sit on it for a few days and talk about it with my husband and kind of see what we think the best plan of action is gonna be. I would also need braces, and I'm just not sure how I feel about adult braces. I would also have to get my wisdom teeth removed. So overall, it's like a upwards of 2-year process of like getting my wisdom teeth removed, having the surgery, having braces. But I mean, at the end of probably tens of thousands of dollars and 2 years, I could have like a perfectly aligned smile, which is something I've never had. Like, my front teeth have never touched. Like I said, my teeth and my jaw have always been an issue. So like that possibility is really tempting, really alluring. So I don't know. Sydney is out playing basketball right now, so I need to go start dinner so we can have dinner when he gets back. And football season starts tonight, which he is super excited about. So I will have some time to do some reading tonight after dinner while he watches football. We just kind of cuddle up on the couch. He watches his football. I read my book. It's perfect. I love it. So that is the plans for the rest of the evening. And then I will need to decide what audiobook I'm going to pick up next, because I cannot get ready for work without an audiobook. So I will let you know once that decision has been made, and I will check back with you when I have an update. Okay, so excited. So since we have finished a book, we get to go log it to get one step closer to rescuing our first pet. So I am part of the Mind Walkers. With a Vengeance was for spells and incantation for qualified, which was Read a Book released this year. With a Vengeance by Riley Sager, 383 pages. Yes, indeed. Done. First book of the readathon logged. Amazing. Hello again, friends. So I am on page 230 in the Lost Story, and I freaking knew it. Like, I knew I was sensing romantic sexual tension, and I could not be more happy to be right. I freaking knew it, man. I did not know going into this that this was gay, but that just makes me like it so much more. It is so cute and so wholesome and so sweet. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me catch you up a little bit to where we're at. So our band of heroes finally made it to Shenandoah, which is the magical land in the middle of this Red Crow Forest in West Virginia. Now that they're finally back in Shenandoah, Jeremy was able to confess to Rafe why he wasn't able to tell him anything over these past 15 years. And the reason is just so heartbreaking. Like, Rafe was so sad, understandably. I won't tell you the reason because spoilers. And just because they're back in Shenandoah does not automatically mean that Rafe has his memories back. So when they left, they kind of had to strike a deal with this witch that helped them escape and get back to their real world. So in the process of all this, Rafe's memories are actually locked in a journal. And I just need him to find this journal like stat because I need him to remember everything that went on in Shenandoah because I need him to remember everything that happened between him and Jeremy when they were boys. We actually got like a full summary flashback chapter of kind of what Jeremy was up to after the reappearance, and he was taken away from Rafe. And we learn more of the reason why Jeremy decided to stay away from Rafe all this time. He hated lying to him, like it hurt so much to lie to him, and he didn't want to have to do that. And he knew deep down that if he stayed close, that he would eventually end up telling Rafe, and he could not do that. And it just hurt too much to be around Rafe because Rafe didn't have the memories of everything that they went through together. So it was also just so lonely for Jeremy. That chapter was honestly just like heartbreaking. Jeremy missed this magical place, Shenandoah, so much, but he missed Rafe more. They were both just so lonely without each other, but I do feel like Jeremy did have it a little rougher because he remembers what he is missing out on. He remembers Shenandoah. He remembers what he and Jeremy had. Jeremy remembers the place that felt like home, that is the best place that he's ever been to, that he was the happiest he's ever been. And he can't go back until he finishes this mission that he was given from the Queen. And he can't go back without Rafe. And Rafe didn't have any of that, which it was still heartbreaking for Rafe because he's just kind of wandering through life, feeling like there's this huge piece of him missing that he just can't remember. I honestly just feel so connected and invested in every single one of these characters. I'm still absolutely loving like the humor and the banter that we're getting, especially now that Rafe and Jeremy are together again. Not together yet. Fingers crossed though. It's gonna happen. But now that they're together again with Emily, I'm loving the banter between them. And you can just tell that Jeremy is just so head over heels, but Rafe's guard is still like very much up. But now that they're back in Shenandoah, Rafe is really starting to let his guard down more. And he's actually starting to kind of get little snippets, little flashes of memories, not really concrete memories, but like a sense, like a deja vu. And I just cannot wait for him to get this journal and get his memories back. But obviously, it can't be that simple. Emily is kind of off on a separate mission, and Jeremy and Rafe are together. They're all working towards the same goal, but separately. So I'm also really looking forward to when the whole gang meets back up again. It's just, I'm loving it so much. I do not want to do anything but sit here and read this book. It's just felt like a warm hug the whole time. Like, it's so cozy, it's so fantastical. It really is like a fairy tale. And I also find it weird that this book was based on the Chronicles of Narnia, but they talk about Narnia in this book like quite frequently, which I wasn't really expecting. I don't know why, but I just thought that was interesting. But I have a little bit over 100 pages left, so I am so excited to finish this up, and I will be back with you when I have finished to give my final thoughts. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back. I wanted to pop in here and kind of wrap the vlog up. We actually just got back from dinner It has been so long since I've had hibachi, and we went to Kobe. I'm not sure if it's a chain or if it's a Florida thing, but oh my gosh, the hibachi was so good. I've been wanting to try it for so long. And my father-in-law actually came down this weekend to visit with us. So we took him out to dinner. It was really nice. And we've just been kind of hanging out for the last couple hours. So I did want to go ahead and pop in and kind of wrap things up for the week. I did finish The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer last night. I absolutely loved this book. I loved the relationships, and not just the romantic relationship, but the familial relationships, like Emily and Skaya, Skaya and our boys and their moms. I truly felt the love in every single relationship in this book. I also loved the conversations of how truly magical art and stories are. Like, I truly believe that art is like the closest to magic that we're ever going to get. I know that there are so many quotes about the magic of stories and books, but I have to add one to the collection. I have it written down here. It says, "All books are magic, an object that can take you to another world without even leaving your room, a story written by a stranger, and yet it seems they wrote it just for you or to you. Loving and hating people made out of ink and paper, not flesh and blood. Yes, books are magic, maybe even the strongest magic there is." And it was obviously giving the vibes of Wonderland and Narnia and Oz with this fantastical world that ordinary people fall into, that it's just on the other side of this world. This world, Shenandoah, was just so whimsical and beautiful and glorious, but also like super dangerous. I mean, like all good magical places are. It kind of reminds me of House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, which is another book I absolutely adored. It left me with that same kind of wonder and just like full heartedness feeling that I had after I finished House in the Cerulean Sea. Just because it was so cozy and whimsical and funny, though, it was not all unicorns and mermaids, although there were those in the book as well. There were some really heavy topics and struggles throughout that I really appreciated. I thought the balance between the like feel good lightheartedness and the deep, meaningful conversations was done so beautifully. There are some trigger warnings for this. There is off page parental abuse, there's mentions of depression, mentions of parental death. So just because this is a fairy tale does not mean that it was without its heavy themes, which just made it so well rounded, in my opinion. I'm not sure if I ever clarified, but this is told in third person, and we do get perspectives from Emily, Jeremy, and Rafe, which I really enjoyed getting kind of to see inside each of their heads and following them throughout their specific journeys. I'm not sure I've ever read something that was so sequentially just like a fairy tale for adults, and it was so good. We had the good, the evil, the love that conquers all. It was so precious, and I really just want to live in this world in Shenandoah. I want to be friends with every single one of these characters. I enjoyed it so much. It was like a warm hug of a book, but it was also heartbreaking at times, which honestly made me love it even more. I'm not sure if it's gonna get the full 5 star. I think it's gonna land like a 4.5. It might be a 5 star. I do have to run it through the call pile system to see what my final rating is gonna be. But if I had to say anything about maybe why it wouldn't get the full 5 stars, even though I enjoyed it so much, was maybe because the beginning was a little slow. I know we needed that to kind of set up the story and to kind of establish our characters, but I honestly didn't mind it too much. So I'm not sure. I may just give it the full 5 star. I just feel like I give too many 5 stars, you know? Like, I'm easily entertained. I'm like, oh, that was amazing, 5 star. But I feel like I need to try to be a little bit more critical and kind of save my 5 stars for the mind blowing, favorites of all time books. But regardless of the official rating, I absolutely loved this one. I highly recommend it if you are looking for something kind of whimsical with found family, definitely cozy fairy tale vibes. I also think it just fit perfectly into the Magical Readathon, and as kind of like my first official fall read, it fit the vibes perfectly. I haven't gotten quite as much reading done as I would have hoped up to this point, but I still shouldn't have an issue with finishing my TBR for my Mage Hunter calling and actually graduating this year. I think I'll be okay. If not, I have tons of points, which in the Aurelium Academy, you can use guild points to buy scrolls, which actually help you complete your TBR if you do need a little assistance. I'm hoping not to have to use one of those, but only time will tell. We will see. I forgot how time consuming this hobby is, honestly. Like, I am trying to balance uh, reading, obviously, filming, editing, also like posting to Instagram. And like, no one's setting these schedules for me or like making these rules but me. But I'm just struggling a little bit. I want to, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it to the absolute best of my ability and try to produce, the best thing that I possibly can. Like, in my opinion, it's not worth doing if you're not gonna like give it 100%. So I'm just trying to find the balance of having time to read and having time to film and edit, but also, still spending time with my husband every evening and prioritizing like my workouts every night, making sure I don't miss those because that was a high priority. Like I work out every single night and I do not want to mess that up. I don't want to miss those. So still trying to like, find the right balance and I'm sure I'll get there. And I know that the more practice that I get at it at both, filming and editing, the more I do it, the quicker I'm going to get at it and the better I'm going to get at it. So I can't expect to, just hop back into it after years of not doing it. I mean, not that I was good at it that back then when I was making videos back then, but the more I'll do it, obviously, the better I'm going to get. I can't expect to just drop in and, be super efficient and articulate at what I'm doing. So I just need to give myself some grace, I think. But it's like I have such a vision of what I want things to look like and kind of the ideas that I want to come to fruition, but the execution skills just like aren't there yet. So that's just kind of where I'm at the moment. A little update. I also don't think just a little second little life update while we're chit-chatting, I know I mentioned earlier in the vlog that I was talking about maybe having jaw surgery, but I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, the cost for one thing, the recovery time, and it's not like my jaw gives me, pain or issues. Granted, that could change at any time, and the more I wait, if I do happen to ever decide to do it, the older I get, the harder it is to heal. But I don't know. I just feel like it's such a big undertaking that I don't know if it's worth it for 90% cosmetic. So that's where I'm at with that, in case you were wondering. So to close things out, I have finished 2 books for the Magical Readathon. I have gotten both my Q and D certifications in my spells and incantations classes. I am currently working on my O in spells and incantations as well. Almost done with that one. So not doing too bad so far. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it to this point, leave me some crystal balls and scrolls down in the comments for the Magical Readathon. Hopefully I won't need those scrolls, but they will be good to have if I do. I hope you are absolutely loving what you are reading lately, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye.